I've been drinking a lot of yancha lately, but how about a different tea from Wuyi? Hey everyone, I'm Sigi, and I'm drinking some black tea here on the nannuoshan YouTube channel today. This, what I have here with me, is the honey Jin Jun Mei, a very interesting and visually appealing tea. We're going to keep things short today, so I'm going to tell you some facts, and then we'll get just straight into it. I've got my little fact sheet here to help me out. So this Jin Jun Mei black tea comes from Fen Shui Guan in Wuyi in the Fujian province of China. So, as I've noted in the intro, this is also a tea from Wuyi, much like my now beloved yancha. The cultivar of this tea is the Fu Yun number 6, and it was harvested on the 10th of April in 2023. The price for this tea is $27.50 for 50 grams on the US shop and 25 euros for 50 grams on the nannuoshan EU shop. First off, if you want more information about Jin Jun Mei, then you should check out the video we're going to link here, where Gabriele tells you everything you need to know about Jin Jun Mei. So, let's first get into the appearance of this tea. As we can see, this tea has a lot of tips. The leaves are quite small, and importantly, the leaves are rather hairy. This also kind of ties into the name of the tea a bit, because the appearance of this tea is kind of similar to golden eyebrows, which I think becomes quite apparent if you look at it. Now, how does it smell? We all know Hongcha usually has a nice fragrance, and so does this one. The dry leaves of this tea smell quite floral and, as the name already implies, like honey, which is really nice if you ask me. Alright, let's not waste any more time. I'm gonna get into the first steep right away. I'm using 5 grams in my 100 milliliter gaiwan at 90 degrees Celsius, and as is customary for Hongcha, I am going to keep the steeps very short with this one. So this goes in, water goes in, all right, and I'm just gonna decant basically right away. Okay. Now, here's the first steep. Just gonna take a quick look. Yeah, a lot of these little hairs that we spotted on the dry leaf are now in the tea. The fragrance of this tea is so intense that I can quite easily smell it from here. Oh yeah, this is... this has a lot of that honey fragrance that we also got on the dry leaf. It's basically even more intense on the wet leaf, but now there's also this kind of freshness to it. And I'm curious to see if that's going to be replicated in the taste. So let's go. Okay. First impression here is actually not about taste, but about mouthfeel. Despite the extremely short steeping time here, this tea is quite thick. I'm a bit surprised by that, honestly, but I like it. Yeah, I just kind of want to keep drinking right away. The honey note comes through quite a lot, and there is that kind of refreshing feeling, which couples with the thick texture in a really interesting way. And I think that has a lot to do with why I just want to keep drinking this tea immediately. It also does come with just a little hint of spice in the aftertaste, which is quite nice because its sweetness also lingers for quite long and stays and comes back up. Yeah, really, really long lasting sweetness on this tea. And it's thick, but it's also refreshing at the same time. This doesn't feel like a heavy tea. Ah, super good. Okay, I'm gonna get started on the second steep right away. Let's see if it changes a bit between these two steeps, and then I'll be back with you in a moment. Right, and we are back with the second steep. I'm not gonna do much longer because I think we still need to keep the steeps quite short here. We noticed in the first one that we are already getting that good mouthfeel and a lot of fragrance, so there isn't really a need to steep this for any longer right now. Okay, and here it is, steep number 2. The fragrance is still permeating through this entire room. This tea is very powerful in that regard. Okay, let's go. Before I describe what's going on here, have you, dear viewer, made any experiences with Jin Jun Mei? If so, please tell me down in the comments. If you haven't yet, don't forget to like, subscribe, all of that good stuff. Just like how this tea is quite good stuff, in my opinion. First impression of the second steep, it's, I'd say, almost even a little bit more refreshing. Maybe a tiny bit lighter in terms of mouthfeel. But we've still got that strong honey sweetness. It still feels thick. And it's still really refreshing, which I honestly find kind of amazing. Like, how can this kind of tea taste so refreshing? I'm honestly quite amazed. Nice. Yeah, very, very nice. It's astonishingly fragrant, and I think it's gonna stay like that for quite a while. Given the short steeping times, I am expecting to get a good amount of, like a good number of steeps out of this. Oh, nice. It's also so nice when you exhale and then you get that honey sweetness coming back. So good. But that was the second steep. It didn't change a lot. A bit fresher, a tiny bit lighter, still extremely fragrant. I like it. Let's see how many steeps we can get out of this tea. I'm on the last steep of this tea. It's been quite a journey. First, let's answer the big question. How many steeps did I get? And the answer is, maybe you guessed right, 9. I got 9 steeps in total. This is number 9. Which honestly is pretty good endurance. The tea did get a fair bit lighter throughout the session, of course. The sweetness of it, however, that kind of honey note remained for the most part, but it also transformed a little bit. It moved a little away from the kind of more heavy feeling honey towards something a bit lighter and more floral. And I could also notice a similar development with regards to its texture, its mouthfeel. It started out quite thick, as I noted earlier, but then it changed to something a lot lighter. Also, the spice note of this tea that was there maybe way in the back at the beginning became more prominent as the steeps went on. And now on the final steep, there is a very slight kind of vegetal note coming through, which I attribute to this tea basically being done. This to me signifies that the kind of leaf taste is coming out, which usually, at least to me, seems like the tea is kind of spent at that point. Or that we've gotten most of what we've wanted out of it. Honestly, 9 steeps is really good for black tea. I haven't really had a lot of other black teas that I've steeped for this long. This tea tasted and felt quite excellent throughout. The refreshing feeling it had was quite amazing. It did diminish in the later steeps, but it got replaced by an overall feeling of lightness at that point, both with these kind of floral notes coming out, with the sweetness of the honey taking a bit of a step back. It transformed in a really pleasant way. It was nice from start to finish. Really pleasant black tea. I definitely recommend that you give this a try, whether you've had Jin Jun Mei or not. Thanks a lot for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.